And we're back. How's it going, Eric?
Good. How are you doing?
Doing pretty good. We're getting ready for the holiday. And um, Eric, I wanted to ask you, what is your favorite Halloween treats?
Yeah, I think I'm gonna have to say that my favorite, because I don't see it any other time, and it is super delicious, is 100 grand.
Mm, yeah,
Underrated.
they are super underrated. And I don't think I've ever seen anybody buy a 100 grand bar.
Right.
You would never
But
see
they
that.
show up in your Halloween candy, and man, they're
So,
so.
truth be told, Autumn used to have to sell candy for softball, and man, she had all that candy in the basement, and I would like they had ones that were like the 100 grand bar, or maybe they
Mhm.
were, I forgot, but I ate a lot of them.
How can you not with these like cardboard briefcases of candy just sitting there?
It was like a candy store. It was ridiculous. Did,
And you knew that Dad was just gonna pay for the box anyway.
our poor parents.
Yeah.
So you did the same?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, there was also like the caramello that was
Yeah.
pretty darn good, and that's another thing that actually I feel like you never really see too much of that. Although like lots of times you have it in the fancy candies. I'll get Natalie, like it seems like for like holidays, birthdays, things like that. I'll end up getting her some type of chocolate, and we'll get her a fancy one, and it's usually like a caramel filled chocolate or like sea salt and caramel or something like that. Now, do you call it caramel or caramel?
I usually go with caramel, unless
Oh.
I'm in like a fancy area around fancy people.
I feel like it depends on the sentence. I'm gonna have a caramel apple. I'm gonna have a caramel. I'm gonna put caramel on a thing. Like, I don't think that I think it's fluid, and there's right times and there's wrong times.
You treat it as fluid.
Nope. I'm right. Anybody else who thinks different is wrong. But when it comes to like Halloween candy, I actually love I love almond joys. Actually, I always say almond joys just because I feel like they show up more. But I really like the mounds because then I don't have to have the almond, and I just want the chocolate and coconut. But I yeah, I feel like there's so much candy that just really sucks, and
Yeah.
and
Actually,
we
I'm gonna
we
say
go for all of it.
almond joys and mounds fall into that category.
No, those are some of the best. I love all the holiday Reese's. So the pumpkins, the Christmas trees, like all that
Yeah.
kind of stuff. I feel like those are really good. But yeah, I don't know. I've probably bought like 10 candy bars in my life. I feel like, but when it's there, it's like, oh, give me some of that.
Yep.
And I feel like when it comes to holidays, like this is the start of the holiday season, I think, right? Because right now you're gonna go out and you're gonna get a ton of candy, or your kids are gonna get a ton of candy, and there's gonna be a ton of candy in the house, and there's gonna be plenty, so that you can have mouthfuls every day until Thanksgiving, and then you got Thanksgiving, and now there's gonna be just treats and treats, and then it's time for Christmas parties, and you go all the way through the new year, and we're talking about a quarter. We're talking about a quarter of the year where
Yep.
it is just an absolute melee, and people get really bent out of shape about this because they feel like they're going into their winter bulk and things like that. But I don't think it has to be that way.
Yeah. Yeah. It ends up being like the biggest obstacle of the year. If you start your health journey in January and you're like, this is the year, then you hit the end of October, and it's like the fire at the end of
The
whatever
Spartan race?
yeah,
Yeah.
and you trip and fall in the fire. The finish line's right there.
Yes.
and fight it. And it's sucky. Like it sucks that you work for 9 months and then all of a sudden this massive test is in front of you. But man, if you get through that test, you're good to go.
Yeah.
Right? Like it's not those habits, that lifestyle is not going to drop off.
Right.
If you can make it, you know.
Well, and so yeah, let's talk a little bit about that. Like finding the steps to make it through without feeling like a piece of crap because you're like I'm having lettuce and whatever instead of Halloween candy, because for all intents and purposes, if you have some candy on Halloween or even a little bit semi often, if you are eating really well, then this is a drop in the bucket, right? If most of my food, I'm eating meat and vegetables, nuts and seeds, little stars, no sugar, and then I get to have this stuff, I don't have to feel ashamed when I have a treat. And actually, just the other day, so actually we're doing a nutrition challenge right now, and our nutrition challenge is to eat 800 grams of fruits and vegetables every day. That's it. There's no rules about what you can't eat, and so actually, me and Natalie, just the other day, we went on a little date, and we just went out for dessert, right? And, lots of times it's like, oh, man, should I really do that? But it's like, it's okay. Guess what? I'm getting the things that I need. And so if we take care of the things that we need, then those other things don't really matter. But when these things are the norm in our diet, now we have a problem. I actually like to think of, even just when we talk about the word diet, if you were a scientist and you are studying yourself and you go, all right, this person eats X, right? A lion eats gazelle, right? Guess what? It might tool around and have a little bit of grass every now and then, or like something like that. But it's most of its diet is going to be meat. And what's up, Ide? But on the other hand, when you should, like when they're looking at you, if they're like, hey, look at this person's usually eating meat and vegetables, they're eating a pretty sensible diet, they're having their fruits and vegetables, and then they have some candy, they're not going to be like, oh, this is a candy eater. It's, they're eating like this. They're an omnivore.
Yeah. Yeah, and man, that's such a good exercise for developing self-awareness, is like put yourself in the third person and be like, okay, you have here's this subject, and they happen to have all of the exact same features you do, and they eat everything you do. What's your advice to them? And everyone is going to make the right decisions, right? They're going to give them good advice because everyone knows what to do.
Yeah.
But when you think about yourself, you're like, I think I'm doing okay. I think it must just be my metabolism's broken. Right?
Absolutely. Yeah.
But if you give yourself that third person perspective, then you're like, oh, I see what the issues are here. And you can make a lot better decisions that way. And like, really, you can coach yourself that way.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. We actually had somebody posting about their large dessert that they just had on on our challenge, and they're like, hey, Zach said we can do this, and it's like, yeah. And here's the thing, I think that sometimes we'll do that kind of thing, and actually if you watch people's Facebook posts, you might have somebody who is trying to lose weight, or they're trying to whatever it is, just doing something for a health reason. And sometimes they get uncomfortable, or we get uncomfortable when we're doing the things that are out of character for what we want. And so then we do it as a joke. But lots of times, I think there's two ways to go about it. One, how often is that happening? And am I okay with this, right? And so like we talked about, if you are eating all your fruits and vegetables and most of your food is good, you should feel good about that. And I will say, yes, go ahead. Like, go have a treat and enjoy it, and there should be no shame around it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And even, let's say you're not eating well, right? And you, whatever, go eat all of your kids' Halloween candy while they're sleeping.
Hmm.
Um, like the shame and guilt really are like moral judgments, right?
Okay.
And eating candy is not a moral act. It is not right or wrong. It's not good or evil, you know? And
Right.
so then, like, shame and guilt is really just living in the past,
Hmm.
right? Like, you're obsessing over something that already happened. You can't go back and change the amount of calories you've eaten or the
Right.
quality of food, right? So, like, it makes no sense to feel shame or guilt. All you can do is think about the next decision. Like, what's the
Hmm.
next thing I'm going to eat now?
Yeah. Yeah. And you know what? I feel like if you are feeling shame or guilt, now thinking about, all right, why? Right? Now, is it because I actually feel bad? Like, hey, this made me feel sick. You know, like
Hmm.
I know that for me, I've done it too many times where it's like I'm gonna smash the whole pillowcase of candy because I can, and like you literally feel sick. And now that is a trigger that I should be saying, all right, if I don't feel good when I do this, why do I think that I like it?
Yeah.
And you know, it's like going back into an abusive relationship. It's like, no, I should feel good, and I can easily have a few. And I'm not even going to say a few. I'm going to say I can have candy and feel totally fine, and wake up the next day, and guess what? I didn't gain 10 pounds. I'm going to be totally fine. And actually, I'm going to pull this up right now. One of the coolest things about Halloween is that all the treats come in little packages. So you've got these little fun size and even like the minis and all those kind of things. So if you're like, you know what, this is stuff that I don't have very often and I'd like to have some, you can have a few. You know, it's like you don't have to limit yourself to one and feel like oppressed.
Yeah.
So let's see. Three Musketeers, the fun size is 70 calories. It's 13 carbs, 2 grams of fat. Let's see some other good ones. Butterfinger, that's a pretty good one. That's one that I would probably never pick, but they end up being good.
Yeah.
It's 100 calories, 15 carbs. So like everything's going to be like somewhere in the 50 to 100 calories, and somewhere in like the 10 to 15 grams of carbs. All right. So if you are measuring your food, this is not a big deal.
Yeah.
It's totally not a big deal. I mean,
If you're super worried, just wear a weight vest while you're walking around with your kids.
there you go. Absolutely. We got Reese's, 1 cup. So that's probably one of our highest is 110. And the funny thing is it's not because of the chocolate.
Right.
It was because of the peanut butter.
It's the protein-filled peanut butter.
Absolutely. But yeah, so I mean, all these things, they're not a big deal. And now you start looking into it and you go, hey, these are the things that I like, and these are the things that I don't like. Now, actually, like, what are some candies that are always in your bags of candy or your kids that is like, what the heck are they doing?
Yeah. Well, okay. Everyone knows those black and orange. I don't know
Yeah, the
what they eat.
saltwater taffy.
It's not even saltwater taffy though. It's like
I'm pretty sure it
peanut
is.
butter crusty. I don't even know.
Yeah, I don't know
It's
what
the
they are.
They are the worst
They're
by
pretty
far.
bad. I
Uh,
I feel like I haven't seen those in 20 years.
I have no idea. I don't know. I
But I
better
feel
not.
like Double Bubble, it's crappy gum. You got what is the like even like Dum Dums? Man, I hate it when I see a sucker in my kids in my kids candy because I'm like, oh, this is gonna take forever, and it's gonna get all over everything, you know. And they're walking around it for days, and it's gonna be stuck on my foot like in the morning.
Yep. Yep. I
But
just found a stick like right before we started.
I
Come on.
I I feel like there's certain candy that it goes straight from the manufacturer into the garbage. And I feel like there is an entire industry of candy that does that. And it's like, and it's sometimes stuff that goes in a piñata, or like, it's just like a very cheap candy, and it's, like the Dum Dums and the, yeah, all those things. Dude, like, just think about that. And now I know that my kids, and I feel like Laffy Taffy should be the same. There's people that like those.
I do like banana.
I hate you.
That, man.
I might have to turn. I'm gonna turn you off this thing, because that is the worst thing I've ever heard in my life.
I love banana flavored candy. That, like the bananas in Runts. Those are amazing.
I feel like the Runts, they like none of them even tasted any different. I couldn't tell the difference.
Yeah. The bananas and the hearts are the best. But I was gonna say Smarties. I feel like Smarties, just out of habit, like I just want to open it and eat the whole thing.
Yep.
But they taste like nothing. It's just sugar. They aren't like especially awesome. They're gone in a second.
Yeah.
They're like totally pointless.
Yeah. There's not a lot of joy in them.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you what, I think that that's something that you should even look into when you're picking the treats that you're going to have and things like that, is what literally makes you happy, and I forgot what the other thing was.
But also a great way to kind of experiment with this is to like eat one bite, like spend a minute, set a timer, spend a minute with one bite in your mouth.
Oh, that was it. You got it.
Oh yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Like take your time doing it. Yeah. Instead of going, and I'll tell you what, when you feel shameful about it, that's what you do. Like, I don't know about you, but you're getting that piece of candy that you're getting out of your kid's bag, and you're like, and like you don't want anybody to see you, and it's like, dude, you should enjoy that, and like make time for it. Actually, like that's one of the things that we talk about, even just with new members, is eating undistracted. And so don't do it while you're standing up. Sit down, have a cup of coffee and have a piece of chocolate, because it's freaking fantastic. And have the things that you've chosen to have. And we actually lots of times we'll have the kids, like on Halloween, they get to go bananas, and it's like, eat whatever you want. But then afterwards, we're gonna have them pick. We got them to have a bag of candy, and like, I don't know, just like a Ziploc bag or something like that. And it's like, pick out your favorites. Anything that fits in there you can have, and the rest we're gonna get rid of. And so this is a good idea just for anybody. Even if you are just handing out candy, it's like, all right, let's have some adultedness. That's a word, right? Adultedness. And once you're done handing out candy, pick the stuff that you like, put it into a single size bag, and everything else you got to get rid of. I don't care if you throw it away, because it's crap anyways.
Right. And really, I mean, if you spend $5 on this big bag of candy to give out, like, would you pay $5 to to not feel crappy for eating the whole thing?
Yeah. Yep. Actually, my mother-in-law at one point, she was making sandwiches, and she was cutting them in half and throwing one of them away. And we're like, wait a minute, you could just make a half sandwich. But the idea was that she said, I am not a trash can, and I don't need to eat the whole sandwich. I don't need to get the scraps off and especially as a parent, man, I'm a scrap eating machine. And and the same thing happens. You have this candy around your house, and you feel like, I shouldn't let this go to waste, and it's garbage. And it's okay that it's garbage, and it's okay that if you're eating it, or it's okay if you're eating it for entertainment or for nostalgia or just to feel good. But do you need to do that all the time? And don't turn yourself into a garbage can.
Yeah. And man, that that transfers over to like leftovers, and eating out is a big one.
Oh,
I
yeah.
think we mentioned before like Maggiano's,
Yeah.
where you can order a meal and they give you a second one to take home. Like
Yeah.
you're gonna be eating that for a week. Like
Or
it's
you should be. You're gonna eat
yeah,
it in 2 meals, but
yeah. But yeah,
yep.
like leftovers and stuff, you don't have to feel bad about throwing it away.
Yeah.
If it's not reaching your goals, let go of it.
Yeah. I think that's huge. People go, I want to feel good. And they're like, this candy or this, you can put anything you want in here, especially coming up to the holidays, this pie, this, macaroni and cheese or whatever. And when you overindulge, do you feel good when you're done? And what about for the next week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, if I'm not getting to my goals? So now this is longer. So if I've been trying to improve my health, lose weight, whatever it is, over the last year, and I'm not getting there, these consistent decisions are like, although you go, hey, I feel really good right now, it's like, how long will I not feel good? And on the other hand, if I can dial this in so that I'm eating really well most of the time and I get to have these treats, I'm feeling good all the time. And when I have these special occasions, I feel really good also. And it's a constant feel good instead of just for this 20 minutes that I'm shoving this stuff into my face.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
man. Fine. What is feel good? Like you said, like the nostalgia of eating Smarties, but Smarties are not super enjoyable. Right? So then like, is there another way to feel that nostalgia of maybe just like going trick or treating, right?
Ooh,
Dress
yeah.
up turtle, like that because that was your favorite costume back in the day.
Yeah, I like that. Yeah, find your nostalgia, find the things that you really enjoy, and just like if you're watching and you have kids, you probably have some kind of rules about what they're eating and when. And I know that even just like in that next week or so, it's a constant fight of, all right, you can't have candy for breakfast. And and it's like, all right, like we need to tell ourselves that also.
Yeah.
And make sure that you're feeling good about it. Have some. You got that next week because you got your own bag of candy, and you go, all right, I'm gonna have one for lunch every day. Big deal.
Right.
We already said that if you're having one, it's like 100 calories. Big freaking deal.
Bring it to the gym, eat it after your workout in your window of gains.
There you go. Hashtag gains. Absolutely. So yeah, remove the shame, find the stuff that you really like, find out why you like it, and actually if you like it, and know that this is the start of either a really good finish to the year, or it could be setting us up for our next restart.
A brutal collapse is
Yeah, absolutely. But yeah, so there you go. Have your treats, have your cake and eat it too. I guess, does that work?
Yeah, basically. As long
There
as
you
you're
go.
eating grams of vegetables.
That's it. Eat your fruits and vegetables, and then go have your treats and feel really freaking good about it. And anybody who tells you that you can't sucks. I guess that's about it, right?
Yep.
All right.
More-
Cool, you guys. Have a great holiday. We'll see you next week.
All right, see ya.